Hey, welcome to another episode of the Adam O Show. Today I'm going to be talking about a time when I was like 8 years old and how I became blind for a couple weeks. Didn't know if I was ever going to see again. So it's a pretty powerful story, but these are all true stories. I want to share them with you. So I'm going to kind of go through my life and share different stories every week and tell you there'll be a lot of motivating stuff, a lot of things where I've actually helped people, different things. So pretty excited. So let's get started. Anyway, I was raised in Globe, Arizona, a small town, and kind of you take the 60, about an hour, 15 minutes east of Phoenix and Scottsdale. Anyway, so I grew up in a small town there. My best friend, the name was Brad Blue, and Brad and I met when we were like 4 years old, and we were both on bicycles at the time. And I met he and his brother Barry over by Connie's Liquor Store on a street called Buena Vista Street. So anyway, we became friends through the years, and I'm sure Brad will be in a lot of my stories because we were best friends all the way up through high school and through life, and we got a bunch of really cool stories to share, things that happened to Brad and I, and things we did that were pretty unbelievable that nobody really knew about. So you'll be hearing them here for the first time. Anyway, this first story, so we were raised really, really poor and had a big family. My mom raised all of us, like I said before, by herself. So a lot of credit goes out to my mom for giving us the best life that she could. So give her a lot of props. But anyway, so one day I was like 8 years old. I went up to the Globe Community Center to go swimming for the day. And my best friend Brad actually just lived maybe like a quarter mile away, maybe not even that far, maybe a couple 100 yards away. And the community center, there's a big picnic area, and then there's also the swimming pool, and then of course there was the baseball field was the Babe Ruth Park at the time, but they hold all kinds of like softball tournaments and everything there. And there was the parking lot on kind of like an upper deck of the baseball park. There was a big parking lot, and from the parking lot, we used to ride our bicycles all the time. We're really into BMX bicycling from a very young age, and Brad and I were, like most kids in town, we're into bicycles and stuff, but we were really into bicycles and motorcycles, and we raced dirt bikes from the time we were, 7 years old up to the time that we were, 25, 26 years old, coming to the Phoenix and racing at Beeline Highway and different motocross tracks throughout the state. So Canyon Raceway was another big one. But anyway, one day I just left the swimming pool, and I was wearing just my trunks and just a t-shirt, and I think I had like just tennis shoes on, whatever. But there was this maybe like a 10-foot hill that went down into like a walking trail where we can walk over to Brad's house or walk over, down just like a shortcut to get, to walk through town. So when we were kids, we never had a car or rides or whatever. So we just would walk everywhere, ride our bicycles, more importantly. So it was actually a lot of fun growing up in a small town. But anyway, this particular day, I just left the swimming pool, and I rode up to the baseball park, and because I wanted to go down this really cool hill, and I kind of would like do like a bunny hop and jump off this hill. Well, I get going, and I see the hill, so I'm on the trail, whatever, and I get going pretty fast, pedaling my bike, and I jump off the top of the hill, and while I was in the air, the front wheel came off of my bicycle. So naturally, unfortunately, the forks stuck in the ground, and I just flipped straight over, face planted. And what happened is I shattered my face completely in many, many places. And when I was scared and I was crying because I was pretty scratched up and beat up. So I remember just crying, and just luckily for me, I knew exactly where I was as far as the demographics of the area, and I knew the area very, very well. So I got up and I couldn't see, and I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know. I was just scared, like any kid would be. I was 8 years old, and so anyway, I just remember running. I just started running, and I was so scared. I was just running and crying really bad, and running. It was in tons of pain. And so I in my mind's eye, I thought I was running towards Brad's house, which was very, very close, maybe 100 yards away. But unfortunately for me, I was running across the desert, across the field of the desert, kind of up towards the mountain, as opposed to running towards Brad's house. So I was actually running another maybe 15 degrees to the left. So, and so I just was running and running and running. And I must have run maybe I don't know, 150 yards, and I ran in, boom, I run into something else, and I didn't know what it was, but I ran into this building, and it felt like a shed, this corrugated metal shed, and it just made the sound boom, and I just fell back like that, and I was laying on my back, and I still couldn't see, so I was scared to death, and I was just crying and crying and crying, and I didn't know where I was. I had no direction, complete vertigo. I didn't know which way I was facing, and I knew that I was laying down, but I was just scared, and so it seems like maybe I was there, and I think I cried myself to sleep, and then I remember waking up and not being able to see, and I was feeling my face. I just feel like it getting dried and tight, whatever. But my face was completely full of blood, and powerful. Anyway, I stood up, and I was kind of putting my arms out, and I was like yelling, "Help! Help! Help!" and nothing. So I reach back, and I feel something. So I just get back and lean back against it. This must have been about an hour and a half. 2 hours have gone by already. So I hear there was like a little dirt road from where I was, because I knew where I was because I've been there a million times, but I didn't know where I was because I didn't have any direction where I was. So this being said, I heard a truck come. It seemed like it was only maybe 20 feet away, and I was like, "Oh, there must be a truck on the road that I'm close by." So I hear it going by, and I start like jumping, "Help! Help!" Raising my arms up, and I hear the brakes squeak, and then I hear like shifting gears, and it shifting obviously in the reverse, and I hear it goes into reverse gear, and I hear things are backing up, and so I'm like, "Help! Help! Help!" and somebody yells, "Young man, I see you! I see you!" And to this day, I still don't know who that was that helped me. But anyway, he comes over, and I told him, I wrecked on my bicycle. I don't know how long I've been here, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours. I'm not sure. I said, I passed out, and he said, "We need to get you to the hospital." So they ended up taking me to the hospital, and I had shattered my face pretty badly, and my nose was completely crooked like this, fractured my skull bones around my face or whatever. So anyway, I wasn't able to see, and they did X-rays on me, of course, and didn't know what was wrong, why I couldn't see. So naturally, I said there's nothing they could do because I was so young that my face structure was still growing, and I used to be kind of a handsome kid, and now look what happened to me after this major damages of the accidents through my life. So, but anyway, that being said. After about 2 weeks of being blind, completely blind, thinking that I was going to live my life, luckily for me, what ended up happening was there was so much blood pulled up in my skull, in my eye sockets, that the blood had dried, and that was keeping me from seeing. So they didn't have the technology back then to know exactly what was going on. So luckily for me, I one day I woke up and I was able to see a little bit, and I was telling them, I was just started excited, "Hey, I can see, just a little bit." So, but anyway, after about another month, man, it all recovered totally fine. So, being blind was the most horrible thing that I could ever experience, and I've actually experienced it another time in my life that I'll talk about in another story. But anyway, these are just little life battles and true stories that really happened to me in my life, and luckily I turned out to still be pretty decent looking. But I wasn't able to have any kind of surgeries or anything until I was 15 years old, and at that point I was able to get surgeries because my face structure had pretty much stopped growing. So they're able to, I had to be awake, and I remember it like it was yesterday. So I remember them had taken a chisel and a hammer, and I'm wide awake, and I can just see the hammer just boom, 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 breaking my nose and breaking my face, while I was awake. And I was a little sedated, but I still knew what was going on, but that was pretty scary. So, but the beautiful thing is, got my nose straightened back out, and haven't had any real problems with it ever since then. So it's been kind of a blessing. But anyway, for those of you who suffered those things, always have faith and believe in yourself and have hope, and just pray for good things for the ultimate outcome, whatever. So I hope you guys enjoyed this short story, and I look forward to telling you plenty more. And remember what I say: be careful what you say about yourself, because your soul's always listening. And if you say something negative, you don't want to damage your soul, because once you do that, that's not a very good thing. So be careful what you say, and always remember, if you're going to pollinate anything, pollinate everything with love. Okay? Love you. God bless you. Have a great day.